Hey everyone, within our beautiful referral network, we're so excited to be here today. I wanted to come on to really interview this incredible genius I know. And this is Gabi Forrester. She is just a wealth of knowledge and a wealth of experience. She's got so much that she can teach us because she has been a practicing naturopath for the past 20 years. And the reason this conversation came up in the first place is that I've been speaking with health practitioners day to day, introducing them to our system and seeing where they're stuck, seeing where they could make things better in their business, seeing where they could have a successful 2023 and start the new year off right with a successful, thriving business. And, I come across so much resistance, I would say. And one resistance I came across recently, most recently, which actually really triggered me, was two practitioners that I had gone to school with 10 years ago who were almost still stuck in what we had learned 10 years ago, that it's necessary to only see clients one-to-one. It's necessary to customize each client consultation, and there is no way to work within a group model. And it really triggered me. And the other thing that triggered me was that just the resistance around it and how, some of the schools are just not teaching the practitioners how to thrive and how to adapt to the world that we're in. We're in this world where we've transitioned into the online space. And so our model of work has to be different. We have to do things differently. And so I thought it would be really fun and interesting to interview Gabi, to hear about her experiences and how she went from working a specific way to transitioning into working another way, and how, let's see if it's working for her or not. Let's explore. So hi, Gab.
Hi, Desiree. This is exciting because actually this is a reflection of the past 10 years of my life when things had to change for me.
Tell me what was going on in your life at the time. When did you become certified as a naturopath? And then what happened in your life? Like, what happened to make you realize that things had to change?
I qualified 20 years ago and I was working for somebody else actually at the time. And then I eventually got my own building and built quite a big business. I had other practitioners working there, many of us under one roof. I expanded. I had a shop, a retail area, and everything was just great for 10 years. Because I think at that time, natural health wasn't that well known. And so when I was doing the advertising, I was doing all like the leaflet drops, I was going and giving talks, all the very physical things that you have to do. I was easily getting business in because there wasn't really any competition, and it was the business literally boomed. It really expanded, and it was hard work. At one point I was doing 6 days a week. I would work 10 till 6 and I would see multiple clients in a day. And then I got burnout, and that meant I couldn't work. It was actually a really quite a dark time thinking about it, because I still had all these clients. I didn't have anywhere else to send them to, and I had burnout. So actually I didn't work for, a number of weeks. I kind of had to get back on my feet. And that was the first thing that made me realize that I was vulnerable. But at that time, I didn't act upon it. Then I decided I wanted a baby. And so I thought something has to change at this point, surely, because again, I can't take all this time off to be a mother. So I just kind of put it to the back of my mind. And then I thought, no, hang on, I need to put some form of system in place that can mean that I upscale my business. Fast forward a few years from that, and I got burnout again. It seems to be a common theme, Desiree.
Yeah, we don't learn from our mistakes.
No, I know. But this time it was bad, because this time I'd actually had my second child. And again, I was unable to work because I was exhausted. I think I literally slept for about 6 weeks. Wow. But that time it was my thyroid. And so things absolutely had to change. I could not keep repeating the same patterns. And the world had moved on. It wasn't the same. There was competition. When initially I was attracting everybody because I'd go out and give talks to literally any group that would listen to me. Suddenly things really had to change and become far more focused because there were that many more practitioners around. It was like a huge explosion because everybody started to understand the importance of really looking after their health. And it wasn't the same kind of advertising model, and it certainly wasn't the same way of running a business either.
Hmm. And in those 2 times that you did burn out, what do you think led to your burnout? What was so exhausting about the way that you were working?
Talk about burning the midnight oil. So I was seeing people 6 days a week. I actually thought that was normal. It was my husband that said to me, I would actually really like a full weekend together. You do know people don't work 6 days a week, right? It's like, no, I thought that's what you had to do when you're building a business. And so I think it was just overly seeing clients, not really knowing how to protect my energy, but it was the after work. So it wasn't just seeing the clients, taking the consultation, it was writing the report, going through lab tests, deciding what sorts of protocols that people need. So it was more than the day. It was working right up until midnight some days. And I remember it would all just start again. And in the end, the burnout came about because I'd think, oh my God, not more clients. And I mean, I was very fortunate to have that many clients. But for those words to even pass my lips were, oh my God, not more clients, means that I wasn't, filling my cup. I wasn't self-nurturing. I wasn't looking after myself because I couldn't. I didn't have the right system in place that would allow things to be a lot more, I guess, less stress, easier for me.
Mm-hmm. And so, so I understand you went through burnout, you had 2 children, and that was your end point where you realized, as mothers, our time narrows down. We only have like a certain number of hours to work. At the beginning, the babies are small. We have to be with the babies at all times. Of course, once they start going into daycare, here in Canada, it happens around 12 months old, 18 months old. I'm not sure what it's like. How long is maternity?
It's about the same, but I had a child that didn't want to go into daycare and actually didn't go into daycare. So I was trying to actually homeschool up until about the age of 5 when they go to the main school. And she didn't want to. My son was different, but one child just was very clingy. That's just the way that she was. She's not now at 13. But what changed were 2 things. So firstly, I had a physical practice. And so something needed to adjust there. And I had to think, what is it that is really taking my time? And I realized that I was saying the same things day in, day out. And so, I would typically see 5 to 7 clients a day. And sometimes I think, did I already say that? And it's because complete sentences were so fixed in my mind that I'd just say them automatically without particularly thinking. And it's what we term the foundations of health. It's things like, hydration is actually really important. The cells need to hydrate for you to be able to create digestive enzymes. Or I talk about the importance of sleep hygiene, why magnesium is so important for the body, how we can start to adjust our diet, all the different sugars that can be hidden within foods. And it was the same things I was saying day in, day out. And so I created an online section for my physical practice. This meant that I was still seeing people one-to-one, but that between their appointments, they could go systematically through the foundations of health because they don't change. They're exactly the same for everybody. Everybody needs to hydrate. Everybody needs to increase their fruit and vegetable intake. They need to learn how to shop wisely, effectively, avoiding the pitfalls. Everybody needs to be meditating in order to calm their stress levels. It's literally the same for everybody. Creating this online section meant that there were modulated lessons that the clients could go through. There was a much better service for them because instead of me thinking, oh, did I say that? I knew that people were accessing the correct modules week by week, and it was being drip fed to them. And so that meant I could literally increase my prices overnight because now there was a health package. No longer was it just seeing me and hoping for the best. It was that they would see me, they would work their way through the content that would be prompted by emails. And then when I saw them 6 weeks later, I knew, and I could track them as well, what they'd actually been able to complete, what they'd gone through. And also I'd have their, well, they're called quizzes, but I'd have their quiz results. So I could see what's changed, what's improved, what hasn't, where we needed to work on. So that was the first thing that I changed. Yeah, that was honestly a game changer.
Mhm.
The second thing I did was actually met you around that time. So was this, what, 6 years ago? 6 or 7 years ago? We created our online signature program. And this is where we focused on IBS. So yes, I still had my physical practice, and I still do to this day. I absolutely love it. But now the difference was with the online IBS course, we have one type of client that we work with. That's very different to my physical practice, where I still don't know who can walk through the door. However, I have good systems in place, so I'm not burning the midnight oil. I've done and dusted. But with the online course, it meant that we could attract multiple people, and it works so well, and it is working so well to the point that actually Desiree, as you know, we're not even working within that business as such. We're overseeing it because we have such amazing systems in place that means that our IBS clients are going through the program, and we also have other practitioners that are now supporting them. So those two things changed everything. When you see clients one-to-one, if you can't work that day because you're not well, you're not going to earn. When you have an online business with a signature program, with an automated system in process, you can help so many more people, but you can also still be earning for that. And what you were saying at the start with, how it triggered you about your colleagues, your peers, because they're still in that same position 10 years later, and they're exhausted, and they've got no money. That is sad, and it doesn't have to be like that.
Mm-hmm. And so implementing this system where you had individual consultations with your clients, and then you have them going through these modules of foundational principles that everyone needs to go through, no matter what their health condition is, to get healthy. How did your clients take to that? So I can imagine that in those individual sessions, you're fully present. You're not trying to cram in, this is how many glasses of water you need to drink a day. This is about whole foods. Like, it just probably gives you such space to actually be there and listen to the client and be present with the client. What did you find?
Well, it's interesting. I'm not sure of the exact statistics, but apparently we only take on 20% of the information within a certain time period. I'm not sure of the full stats on that, but it's so true, isn't it? And people can easily feel overwhelmed, especially most of our clients have really bad brain fog. They can't take on that information. And it's a disservice to give them handout after handout on all the things that you feel that they need, because they're just not taking it on board, nor can they apply it to their own unique situation. But when they can get prompted by email, they log in because they are now a member of your platform, they can go through your course content. So this is me with the videos, or it may be written text. There's lots of different delivery methods to appeal to different people. But it means that I know that at the end of that, they are going to then implement changes. Not just that I track each person, because I have what's known as a CRM, which means it's a customer relationship manager. It's a tracking tool for your clients. And so I can quite easily say, so I saw you got up to week 4, not being able to progress any further. What was happening for you around that time? Oh, well, actually, that's when I went away, or, something's come up. And that's fine. Life happens, but I do know that they're implementing the other steps in between, and they loved it. So in terms of feedback, absolutely thriving on the information, plus so much easier for me.
Yeah, it's because you've put automated systems in place to be able to be able to service all of your clients, no matter what the health condition. That's amazing. And, in terms of customer retention, if the clients always have this portal that they can go back to, because of course we slip, we get off track with our health. Of course we forget to drink water, even the practitioners among us. So if they can always continue to access the portal and get reminders and refreshers about the things that they need to do, it's always relevant, right? Whatever content you put out there about health and wellness, it doesn't expire. It doesn't go old. It's always relevant. Opinions.
Well, actually, my last module is very much about that. It's about self-analysis. because I want people to know when their body is whispering to them that something's perhaps not balanced and that they're starting to fall back into old habits. So this is why I included the self-analysis part, because people need to know when to, rein things back in and implement those fundamentals of health again, so that they feel and thrive rather than falling back into old ways.
Yeah, I just see it as such an empowering model for the practitioner. It allows you to have more time freedom. It allows you to charge more because you're creating a high ticket package as opposed to just one-to-one client consultation model.
Mm-hmm.
The client gets what they need. The practitioner gets what they need. It's like an all-in-one win-win situation.
With the IBS course, that's very different. And Desiree, as you know, we actually have what are called funnels. We have 5 different ways of communicating to those with IBS. So a funnel is just like the top end. It's the language that you use that's going to speak to that person. So for example, the overarching thing is IBS, but it has different expressions. There's IBS with constipation, IBS with diarrhea, IBS with bloating, IBS with anxiety. And then you get people who are a real mix of the two. Well, because it's such different language, each involves a different, it's a sales page at the end of the day to speak to that particular person. And within the sales page, there's a quiz, which helps people to identify that they are actually suffering. It's not normal. They've just got used to it, but it's not normal to be experiencing gas every day or cramping, etc. Mm-hmm. But they all lead into the same course. So the actual signature program is all about IBS, regardless of the different entry points, because again, it's the foundations of health when it comes to digestive health and support. Mm-hmm. But what's amazing about this is if you decide, like we did, to still run it with lab tests, mm-hmm. then people have different lab results, don't they? But the amazing thing is that it only takes the click of a button to send that person down a different part of the funnel to a different part of the course, depending on what their lab results showed. And so the difference now is, instead of then writing a complete new protocol, as is the old model, here we can just redirect it into something that's already set up. What a time saver this is.
Yes, and these are all ways to incorporate customization within a group model. So we have individuals who have Candida, we have individuals with SIBO, and all of their lab results will show us the results. And then we just funnel them into that specific section that will have a specific eating protocol. It'll have a specific supplement protocol, but we only had to create it one time. And we're able to service everyone with IBS. We're able to market to everyone with IBS. Because if it was just an IBS course for individuals with diarrhea, well, the constipated IBS people wouldn't have anywhere to go. So we really created this, we really put a lot of thought into it. And we understood what was necessary in order to bring that individualization within a group program. And you guys can do the same thing with your group program. So if there's a resistance where you're saying, I absolutely can't have a group program, I can't have a group model, I have to work with individuals one-on-one because everyone's different. Yes, everyone's different, but everyone with that health condition is pretty much the same. And everyone with all health conditions are pretty much the same. We're all stressed. We all don't know how to eat properly. We're not sleeping well. We don't know how to eat whole foods. We don't take the right supplements. Everyone has these foundational principles that will help us get better: mind, body, emotions, everything. So capitalize on that. That's a way that you can really create a group program and really take your business to the next levels. We're seeing it with our clients. It's just so incredible what our clients are creating. It's the best.
It is.
So thank you so much, Gab. Thanks for sharing your story with us. It's an amazing story. There are parts that even I didn't know. And I hope you guys now understand what it is that you can create and the possibilities for you. And we have a free workshop coming up on January 5th at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are going to go through the foundations of creating an online course. It is not just a webinar that you can watch. It's not a passive webinar. There is a downloadable, fillable PDF worksheet that goes along with the presentation where you can follow along and start literally mapping out the outline of your own signature program, seeing what it's going to take, what types of modules and what types of lessons to create, what types of information to include, what to exclude from your group program. So this is a really actionable workshop at the start of the new year, right at the start, where you can start mapping out your ticket to freedom, which is your online program that's going to allow you to reach more people, service more people, change more lives, transform more health, and get you off to the races at the beginning of a brand new year. So I hope you guys join us for the free workshop. It's going to be held within this Facebook group, and the links are all over the place, but I will put the link under this presentation where you can actually go to our sales funnel, which is our opt-in page. You can register for the webinar, and you can also get your downloadable workbook right there. Okay, so thank you so much for watching today. And I wish you guys a beautiful, happy new year with all of the prosperity and abundance and health and all of the beautiful things that you want in your life.
Absolutely. This is the start of a new year, new you, new business strategy. Can't wait to be part of it. Bye for now.
Take care, guys. Bye.